Whoa, what the hell's going on here, like? Gee. Oh no, take your consensual cock away from me and my Oreos. Goodbye.
WTF, WTF.
As I stand here today, here I am pointing my middle finger towards the sky and gripping my consensual penis. If you haven't seen Enzo Amore's rap video, go and watch it now because it's bloody terrible. I am Ross from Cultaholic.com, you're my sexual wank pheasants, and welcome to all of the WTF moments from last night's WWE Raw. Yes, please do, specifically the XFL blimp. Of course this is because we'll be able to see how the new XFL will pan out without actually having to watch the new XFL. Remember what happened when WWE had an XFL blimp way back in day? It crashed, it deflated, and it died just like the XFL did in real life back then. So then if they bring back a new XFL blimp, we watch it for a bit, we see how it goes, we're able to save ourselves a lot of time and a lot of money. Next up we have Kurt Angle in the moment he came out and claimed that he's seen intensity when Braun Strowman picked up and threw a little sweaty man called your boy Finn Bálor halfway across the ring. And apparently this is one of his favourite eyes. Now of course when Kurt Angle brought up the eyes, I can't have been the only one thinking if the other eyes are still integrity and intelligence, and most importantly of all, the big Bobby Dazzler, interracial. Well, he's forgotten about Jason Jordan, hasn't he, in recent weeks, and he's also been trying to adopt Chad Gable, so he might change them, you never know. And next up we have Jonathan Coachman, who claims that Kevin Owens, who was on guest commentary of course, which should be a thing every single time he's not doing the wrestling inside the wrestling ring, should be addressed as the guy who was the #1 pick at the Superstar Shakeup. That's not how it went down, was it, Coachman? As we all know, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they fought for the right to party on Monday Night Raw. They didn't get the job done. They went away for a little while, then 1 week after the Superstar Shakeup took place, Lady Ball snapped them up, and that's where we find ourselves today. Now it pains me to do this, but while on commentary during this match, Kevin Owens made a massive mess, much like my life is right now. My life is in tatters. He claimed that earlier in the afternoon before Monday Night Raw last night, people came up to him and told him, don't be afraid to go hard on Jonathan Coachman while you're on commentary. The question here is, of course, how did anybody know that Kevin Owens would be on commentary, because the match he was doing commentary on was an impromptu match. When Raw kicked off, that match was as real as Baron Corbin's hairline. Maggle, 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 maggle. Here's a direct quote from Maggle Cole: Strowman with a boot to the gut of your boy Finn Bálor. Almost a direct quote there. How Maggle, that thing that Finn Bálor has is anything but a gut, as people like me know gut stands for gave up trying. And if you look at your boy Finn Bálor, he still looks like he tries really, really hard, or either has a diet of 100% toot. Sorry pal, those arrows need shifting the other way. Better. I'll give you a second to read that just there, and I'll finish off that headline just there by saying ... ellipsis ting was not AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It was Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey versus Lady Balls and her man balls. Who on earth they're trying to fool with this nonsense, man? Because it was the first time the WWE Championship revolved around a set of cock and bollocks like the Earth orbits the sun. Insert flat Earth jokes here. Next up we have WWE's Greatest Royal Rumble had it all, apart from Sami Zayn, women, and your boy Finn Bálor's Ballot Club for Everybody t-shirts, including controversy, the controversy being of course all the stuff that the Greatest Royal Rumble did not have, which makes that headline there more of a lie than Byron Saxton's life. Aye, but I'm wearing the same shirt so nobody will notice. It's from Cultaholic's WTF Moments for SmackDown Live from May the 16th. No. But at the end of that advert where they replayed all of those headlines that are all kinds of wrong, they said who will stand tall at Money in the Bank, and with the subject area of this feud in mind, who else was left thinking of erections? Just me? Good. Who the hell is on that stretcher and what the hell is going on here? So according to Sasha Banks, the bowels, to win this gauntlet match you need guts, you need skills, and you need luck, but when you're the boss you don't actually need the luck. But you just said that you need that to win the match, so you're not going to win that match, are you? Thanks for the spoilers, pal. I cannot believe it, they've gone and done it. The advert for tonight's SmackDown Live claims that for the first time ever, Samoa Joe will be taking on Daniel Bryan. 20 times they've been involved in the same match, WWE, 20, the last of which was at Ring of Honor in your face in 2006 when Kenta beat them both in a triple threat match. It's not hard. All it takes to be added is the first time in WWE, then you save yourself from looking like as much of a twat as Enzo Amore in that rap video. And here's a direct quote from Maggle Cole: I think Seth Rollins is the hottest superstar in WWE today. Nah pal, Rusev's more handsome. Vince McMahon likes men who look the same. Vince McMahon likes men who look the same. Vince McMahon. Likes men who look the same. Seriously though, Elias looks just like Seth Rollins after Seth Rollins had a bicycle pump shoved up his arse. Yes, he did. Survivor Series 1995, but why did that need to be brought up last night at Raw? And here's another direct quote from Michael Cole. Rollins was WWE Champion for much of 2017. As Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, it was 2015. It's clear for all to see that seeing two Eliases in the ring at the same time had Michael Cole all kinds of hot and sweaty. And there's a sign there that reads Seth Rollins is probably wanted for arse, and there's no probably about it whatsoever, because we all saw when he was announced as the cover star for WWE 2K18 that he burned down the entire contents of WWE's warehouse. A fun little tidbit here, that gutted warehouse that Seth Rollins almost burned down to the ground is where Childish Gambino filmed his video for This Is America. So without Seth Rollins, Childish Gambino would have had to film somewhere else. Talking absolute bollocks. Sunil and Singh, he's got the worst of it according to Jonathan and Coachman. He's only one man, Coachman, what are you talking about? Dun 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 dun. Didn't do a very good job there, did you, Kev? We can still hear the fans clearly singing happy birthday to a dying Seth Rollins, completely ruining what was supposed to be a heart-wrenching moment. Poor Jinder Mahal, are we really supposed to boo this man? Weeks ago he was injured, then he was forced to compete despite the fact he was injured, then Roman Reigns murdered him through a sheet of cardboard, losing his Money in the Bank qualifying opportunity in the process. Then last week he got his Dave Benson Phillips. He got his own back on Roman Reigns with a steel chair, which is completely fair enough. Then last night he was in the midst of having a wonderful match with Seth Rollins before Seth Rollins brought a chair into the ring and ended that match prematurely. When will the pain end for the man? Hashtag justice for Jinder. And while we're talking about this match, good on Seth Rollins' big brother Elias for coming out and twatting Seth Rollins upside the head with his guitar. Poor old Jinder Mahal. And next up we have Michael Cole claiming that Ronda Rousey wanted to have a bird's eye view of Nia Jax having a match. I did not realise the commentary table was in the bloody ceiling. And speaking of Nia Jax, she has some jobber apply an armbar to her just so she can show Ronda Rousey that an armbar doesn't affect her. But I reckon her logic is flawed, of course, because if I was to put myself in the ring and take a punch Madame Pacitti, I reckon I would survive and then kick 7 shades of poo out of him. But if you were to stick me in the ring with Ronda Rousey and have her punch me in the face, she would knock me the piss out. Just in case you've missed it, having an armbar applied by a jobber is not going to be the same as having an armbar applied by Ronda pissing Rousey. And while we're here, Survivor Series 2016, Becky Lynch made Nia Jax tap out by using what? A bloody armbar. Who would have thought of it? Never forget. So for months, WWE did a wonderful job of building Nia Jax up as a babyface, an inspiration, a role model for millions. Then she rocked up on Raw last night, laughing at and goading a jobber, like a bully, laughing at and belittling Ronda Rousey, like a bully, and finally telling fans to shut up, you guessed it, like an absolute arsehole. What the hell happened there? Months of fantastic work unravelled, just like that. So in the midst of all that bollocks, where the commentary team were telling us that the Ascension are only a couple of wins away from something massive happening on WWE Raw, Jonathan Coachman claims as we're heading into the summer, this is the time you need to be getting on a roll in WWE. Aye, forget about WrestleMania, the summer's where the money's at, isn't it? Better still, why not save all the good fun for the winter when nobody's watching because there's no big events to write home about, Coachman, you bloody numpty. Sarah Logan has a Michael Cole soul patch. What an idiot Liv Morgan is. Everybody knows that when you commit a crime you leave a calling card that says who you are without actually saying who you actually are, yet there she is writing Wyatt on the wall in lipstick or crayon. Probably crayon, because she's an idiot. What you doing, man, Liv? When WWE come looking for someone to pay for the damaged clothes and pay for the damaged wall, they're going to come straight for you, aren't you, numpty? And then she claims that despite the fact that the main event Gauntlet match from last night was the last chance to qualify for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, nobody gave the Riott Squad a chance to begin with. Even though last week Logan and Morgan were in a triple threat match where they had a chance to qualify for Money in the Bank, all they had to do was not the third person out the ring, pin each other, and they'd be there. Numpties. And now it's time for this.
Wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank, wankety wank.
Hello and welcome to Wankety Wank, the section of WTF Moments where, just like on Blankety Blank, where they fill in the blanks, a sexual wank pheasant tweets me with a WTF moment I have missed from last night's Raw or SmackDown or a pay-per-view and fills in my blanks. Thank you very much to George Ginner for pointing out a Canadian stereotype. Sami Zayn, you mean to tell me that they weren't Bobby Lashley's real sisters and were actually men in drag? Hang on a second, so Corey Graves claims that a 30-year-old man who was evicted by his own parents in a court of law was called Michael Rotondo? Give us a bloody break, man, will you? He's bloody spot on, you know. It's not a wrestling reference, it's actually news, and I don't know what to do myself. What's real anymore? You know when everyone's Thanksgiving is ruined when WWE have a food fight which Michael Cole claims is so fun to watch? Well, Thanksgiving took place on Memorial Day this year because they had a bloody food fight on Memorial Day. Wasn't it so fun to watch? But what was going on with Michael Cole during the entirety of that segment? Because he was laughing like somebody dropped some LSD in his cup of tea. I mean, there's no hiding from it, Michael. That segment was piss poor, yet you're cackling like a bloody hyena. You are off your bloody tits. Slippery food on the floor. Titus O'Neil doesn't go arse over tit. WTF?
Made a grave mistake, Corey.
This time we have Corey Graves claiming we're about to find out if home advantage rings true in WWE as hometown hero of the night. Mickie James made her way down to the ring. What you talking about, Willis? This is WWE. Everybody knows that if you do the graps in your hometown, you lose unless you're the couple who didn't lose very recently. Here's what Michael Cole sees when he sees Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. Michael, Sarah Morgan isn't a thing. Now with that Gauntlet match last night, people are outraged because it only went for 20 minutes compared to the men's who went for 2 hours a few months ago. Now I'm angry because we didn't get enough of those pointless promos where the women said what they were going to do to win that Gauntlet match. I just think there was so much untapped potential with those promos and they definitely weren't a waste of time. How about WWE? You remove that bollocks, let more wrestling take place in the match timings compared to the men, and the women don't look so incriminating. And we end this episode of WTF Moments with a sobering thought. Roman Reigns did not turn up for work last night. That's the same Roman Reigns who has spent the entirety of 2018 moaning about how his big rival, Brock Lesnar, never turns up for work. Here's a blast from the past. You hip-hop, hypocrite Roman Reigns, you arsehole. Goodbye. If you want to follow me on the Twitter machine, it's at Ross on Wrestling. If you like what we do here at Cultaholic.com, you can pledge from our Patreon page, patreon.com/Cultaholic. Anything you can give to us will be greatly appreciated, and we will love you forever. But most importantly of all, do not forget to join us every form of social media apart from Game Boy Advanced.